Hi, today I want to talk to you about connectors. Not just ordinary connectors, but the connectors that Fran, my wife, and I used to use when we built model railroads. And we had one main consideration for connectors, and that was reliability. Now, it's also nice if we could take them apart and put them together and that kind of stuff, but mainly we were interested in reliability. And of course, one of the more reliable ways to make joints is with soldering and heat shrink tubing or wrap tape that'll shrink up and make it tight. But that's very consuming on your time, and it makes it much harder for you to make money at building model railroads. So the next thing we looked at was how can we increase the speed, how we can get this done faster, and yet still maintain the reliability of a soldered connection. And the first thing we came up with, of course most people would, is the automotive connectors like this one. And it is really nice because you just simply take a wire, shove it in from each end, like that, and like this, and there we go. And then also you need one of these. It's a Molex plier, and it's marked by color here, so I even have a red one here to mark, and I can actually come in here and crimp that connector then at that point, and it will secure, and it does secure extremely well. That's not a bad way to do it. Of course, it doesn't allow you to take them back apart, and you have to test them and make sure that they're right, which you should do on all of these. But you really want to make sure that your connections are well made, in other words, that they're actually going to pass electricity. So then we found some other connectors from 3M, and I think these are fantastic connectors. They're called Suitcase connectors, Suitcase. And what you can do with those is, this is really cool because I can take a feed wire. Let's take a little bigger one here. Let's take one like this. That's about a number 14. Lay that in there. I snap that shut like that. I can take my feeder, my drop wire that's going to go up, and I do not need to have this strip like I have this one. It can be unstripped or stripped, either one. Put that in there, and then for that I just need a pair of slip joint pliers, and I'm going to make that about the second notch because that puts them about parallel for the size of this. Whoops, dropped my wire. That's one thing you do have to do, is hold that wire in. And there's a little window that you can see in here, and it shows my wire, so I can tell that that wire is actually in place. And now I take my pliers right on top of that. I may have set them a little wide, but we hope not. I really like these because, there we go, you can feel it snap, and you know you've made connection because the suitcase will snap shut like that. And now I have a connection. Now you may doubt whether or not I have a connection, so I have another device here that I'll explain real quickly. This has a 9-volt battery. It has a buzzer, which you can get online any place, Electronic Gold Mine, or a lot of places have them available. I have one side of the battery coming out to the clip, and the other side comes out to the buzzer, and then the other side of the buzzer comes to my clip. So I can simply connect this on, and now I put that on the black wire. I'm going to come up here and I'm going to touch the red wire. I know it works. These things work every time. They're really great, making a good connection. So this device, by the way, is very handy. You clip one onto one rail, one onto the other. Make sure your power packs, DCC, whatever, are not connected. Make sure you don't have any equipment that's shorting, engines, etc., on your track. And then you can go through and wire your entire railroad. And so long as you don't hear that, you know that you're making your connections correctly. You have not shorted your track anyplace. So it's a real handy thing to put on your layout as you're doing your wiring to make sure that you don't make some kind of a haphazard short that you then will have to go back and spend hours tracing down. These suitcase connectors also come in a much larger variety. This one will take number 12 wire. So if you're wiring a larger layout, you can make your 12 as your pass-through wire, and then even 20 gauge wire will go in here for your feeder, for your drop, up to your layout. So these come in two different sizes. These are, I've got to take my specs down here to make sure. Let's get the red one over here. These are my favorite. These are 5/5/8. Now, these are removable or reusable in the fact that if I put this down, and you want to be careful you don't poke your finger with these things, because I've done that a few times, but you can actually open up the suitcase, and then if you look at it very closely here, you can see there's a wide space here and a narrow one there. So I'm going to come at that wide space with a jeweler screwdriver, and I can simply wedge it in underneath there, and if I work it hard enough, I can actually pull that out, pull my wires out. The crimper is not hurt by the process, and I can reuse it again. So this type is reusable. It's a little harder to reuse it, a little harder to take it apart, but it's certainly easier than taking apart a solder joint where you'd have a much harder time getting to it. So these are really great connectors. We used them for a long time, and then along came Waggle, W-A-G-O. And Waggle has a bunch of different connectors, but this is the one we found, and I've got the smaller one laying here. They come in 2, 3, and 5. I think they may even have a 4 in this particular one. This is a 221, and I've got a thing made up here to show you so you can kind of understand what those are. So we'll put that on there and on there, and there, that's a 221. And then you have to designate whether or not it's going to be a 2, a 3, or a 5 connector. Now the neat thing is they are 26 through 21, or 26 through 12 in the wire size that they will connect. So they have a wide variety of sizes. My number 12 wire that I had over here will go into this. Here, I've got one open. Let's do that way. And now to make the connection, all I have to do is snap that shut. And it is absolutely tight in there. And let's take a feeder wire. I already have one strip. Let's stick that in, snap that. And I didn't have this strip, but we'll strip it real quick. See what that does. Get our tester over here again, and on that, on this, yep, good connection. These things almost never fail. I have not had one ever fail, and I've put on thousands of these things on various layouts at different times. So absolutely fantastic connectors, these Waggles that are the snap action. Now, they also have another snap action, and I've got that here. They call them lever, and so I'll bring those over here. I want to cover that up so you don't get confused. They are a lever nut, okay, lever nut, and I could not find a number on them. I think the part name, nomenclature, just happens to be lever nuts. But these are the same way. They work exactly the same as the 221s do. Shove that in and snap the lever down. It's a hard lever to push because they're really tight. The advantage to these is that they will do a number 28 all the way to a number 12. So they will work for your feeder wires, they work for your connections on practically any part of the layout. Get my connector back over here and we'll show you. They work first time every time, hopefully. Yep, haven't had them fail. They're absolutely fantastic. These are a little bit more expensive than the 221s. Now, the other thing that I want to cover over, because these two are the ones that I mainly recommend, and that's the 221s and these lever nuts. But there's another one that we use. Flip my little paper over here because it's all ready to go. He's an 0862. Now this guy is super heavy duty. As a matter of fact, I've got to reach underneath here and get a good screwdriver. It's got a good size Phillips here. Get a big one. This guy is absolutely incredible. I'm going to take my glasses off so I can see what I'm doing. We use these between modules or between sections of a railroad because I can bring a number 12 wire in here, and if I push down on this, and this is one heck of a spring, I can get that to go in, and now it's solidly in there. I can wire that all from the layout on one side. Each one of these connectors has 4 that connect up. In other words, these two are together, and these two, all 4 of these are together. These two with these two. So now I have 5 wires that can be brought from the layout on this side and hooked to another module on the other side. And just to show you how well these work, because they're just like the rest of the Waggles, I'll come in here and push that in, make sure it's tight. Now note that what I have here is I'm coming in on the left side here, the right side over here, so I've crossed. They still make connection because all 4 of them connect together. So we'll touch that and zip, it's on. So, and to get these out, I mean, you'll break the wire trying to pull it out. So what you want to do is really push down on that sucker and relieve it, and like that. And they have 4 mounting holes here that you can go to if you need to mount it up to the end plate of your railroad or whatever. But that's some suggestions on connectors that you can use for your railroad. I think these are absolutely fantastic. Like I say, they are extremely reliable. They're available from all kinds of electronic supply houses. Just type it in your web browser, and all of these will come up and be available to you. I buy these guys, actually I buy the 2s because I use them the most, but I buy these by the 100 in a box, and you can get them by I think the 500 or 1,000 even if you want to. Extremely, extremely good connectors. So until we meet again, go down to your railroad room. Let your trains put a smile on your face.